Welcome into another week of the Blue White Player Show presented by our friends over at Ciocca Dealerships. I'm Aeneas Hawkins. This is Goon Conlon. Another week, 1-0. Goon, had a great time at your tailgate this weekend. I mean, that chili was nothing short of phenomenal. I enjoyed a couple bowls myself.
You need some more? I got like 14 pounds left.
Please. I could use it in my refrigerator. It would get dealt with. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, it's one of those cold weather, not cold weather, because we know what that is.
Yeah, we do.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
I'm in a sweatshirt and you're wearing a jacket, so it feels like we're in a cold, but we're not. Great tailgate, fun time, absolutely beautiful. I mean, November 19th or 18th. And the weather we had out there for that game?
Yeah, I'll say that this fall specifically, this is about as good of a football season weather-wise that you can have asked for. I can't remember. Yeah, I mean, that's nothing.
UMass was a wash.
UMass was definitely a wash. What other cold? Well, there was one more cold game I remember doing radio. I'm under that tent. I get no sunlight where we do the show at, and I was shivering. It's the sun. It's key.
Yeah, so we're down at the football Letterman's lot, and we're just sitting there, and I'm watching the sun, and I'm watching the track down, and I'm like, that's going to be behind a Bryce Jordan Center half hour. I tell my wife, she's like, no, it's okay. We can stay here a half hour if you want, you know. And I said, hey, it's going to get really cold here in about 15 minutes. So 15 minutes later, she said, it's getting cold. We can get out of here.
Yeah. No offense, of course. None taken.
Another great tailgate season, obviously.
Yep.
We don't lose.
No, you can't lose on senior day. No, not at all. And definitely, I want to make a note there. Some really, really good seniors that walked on Saturday and were honored at Beaver Stadium as they should have been. I mean, guys that I was really close with, Devon Elise, Hakeem Beeman, Caden Wallace. It's crazy to see them as seniors now graduate, moving on. Recruits when I was a freshman, I was their guy, man. It's crazy, man. I was hosting them on their official visits. It's nuts to see how quickly time is gone, and for them to get a good win against Rutgers. And I don't want to scurry past Rutgers too quickly. We laugh, we joke about them, but their defense is legit this year. They've played really well throughout the season. This is probably the best Rutgers team I've seen in the last 5 years, and they've handled it pretty well, especially through some adversity with Drew going down, Bo Prabula getting the opportunity to step in. Did you see anything from Penn State's offense specifically?
I'm just going to say this, and that is, I was playing here with Greg Ciocca, who's coaching.
Okay.
So I know Greg. I know the type of personality he is, and I know the type of guys that are at Rutgers. I mean, they're the Rutgers kids. Every one of them's going to say, "Oh, that's Penn State. That's Penn State." I'd never go there. I'd never go there. I'd never go there.
Right. Unless they had a scholarship from Penn State, right? No doubt.
They're just like Maryland. It's their biggest game. That game really, really scared me because I think Greg Ciocca possibly was treating that as a dress rehearsal for the Penn State fans. Like, hey, if James isn't working out, maybe there's some rumblings.
Right.
But I'm here. So he goes out there. If he had taken care of business and beat us up pretty good, which they didn't. They did it first. They did it for the first half, like we had talked about. There's a little hangover after a loss with Penn State. And it being senior day, you just knew that the horse was to take over.
Yeah, and they definitely did. The better team won that game. Penn State, even with the 2 losses this season, everybody being frustrated about those things. The talent on that roster is undeniable, especially on the defensive side of the football. There's just so many NFL guys on that defense in the 1, 2, and even the 3 deep. That is just going to be tough for a team like Rutgers to get the ball moving. You talk about Greg Ciocca, another guy that I played under, Kirk Ciocca back in the building as the offensive coordinator. Ironically, the week after the man that took his job gets fired. So I'm sure he was motivated. They did a good job handling their offense. It was exciting to see. You got Michigan State next week. You got any thoughts there on Michigan State thus far?
I've always thought that Michigan State's a tough place to play because I've had some wars out there. I mean, I can give you stories. We played out there in '93. We walked out there. It was our first year in the Big Ten. And we walked out in the field, and there was an inch of ice on the ground. And somebody, there was frost on the ground, and they put rock salt down to melt down the ice. And let me just tell you, playing on an old school AstroTurf with rock salt.
Oh, man.
And we're going to get to it. So, I got my headset back here.
I'll tell you what.
I hope we're better here or no?
With these knees, there you go. Getting the thumbs up.
The rock salt thing, and on AstroTurf, I don't know if you old school turf. Stuff burnt. Like you would just get like nicked like that, and like a layer of skin would come off, and then you get in the shower and it hurts. So then you add in a little bit of asphalt, rock salt, like they were like cleaning up a highway, is what they threw out in the field that day, and it was one of those things. I was like, "Are you guys kidding us?" So, and then in '95 we had a Bobby Ingram type of day where he just completely took the game over and won the game for us late in the game, and and then I was there when I was working here in 2005. We clinched a Big Ten title out there. So I've had some good times out there. But I want to ask you, as a player, as a former guy, and a guy nowadays, is you got a senior day. I mean, I know it's nice to play in a nice domed environment in Detroit and this and that, but are you really doing the best thing for your seniors by having that out there? I mean, their last game's going to be in a way like a visiting stadium,
It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I'd be interested to hear how their seniors feel about it. I know that if my senior day were anywhere other than Beaver Stadium, I mean, we can talk about any other stadium in Pennsylvania, I would not have wanted that.
No.
Now, Beaver Stadium in itself is a spectacle in sports. I'm not sure that the stadium out in East Lansing is on that same level. But nonetheless, you spend 4 or 5 years playing ball there on Saturdays. I'm sure, envision your senior day being there. It's interesting. And then not only that, I want to talk about something else that's important to me.
But I want to know if,
please.
Anybody in Michigan know any Sparty people?
I don't know any Sparty guys right now.
So I wonder if they had their senior day I know that with their home game, they played at Indiana this week. So like last week, did they have a home game? Did they get announced the seniors then too?
That's a great question. You would think. I mean, you would think
they deserve it.
Absolutely, they absolutely do in front of their fans in their typical. I don't know why you would do it any other way. I was gonna say, I'm not sure what your experience was, but I remember every year this time of the season was always sad for me because we'd be at practice on Thanksgiving morning. They're playing Thanksgiving songs, and I was 7 hours away from home, so I didn't get to go home for Thanksgiving, and that's exacerbated this year because those guys play on Friday. So they would be. Question. Please,
what's a Thanksgiving song?
You don't know the Thanksgiving? I guess
what
that's
would be
fair.
a Thanksgiving? My wife knew exactly what I was going to say.
This is the old school, new school. You got no idea. So there was a viral clip a few years ago. I'm not sure where this woman was. She might have been in church. It's like an old school, like Southern black woman, and she's listing off all the things she's going to have at her Thanksgiving. She's got beans, greens, tomatoes, potatoes. So we're warming up.
Dude, they put that on?
Listen, that's why they're rubbing it in our face. Like everybody's dancing, having fun. I'm like trying to
child abuse.
It's terrible. My dad and oh my goodness. No, I'm not even gonna go down
so
that.
I did mention this today. And I mean, when are our guys? I mean, we could have Landon Tengwall is gonna be on here a little bit here. So I want to know when is the players when are they having Thanksgiving dinner? Because you don't want to play a game the day after Thanksgiving dinner, nor do I want to fly in a plane the same day as Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game. I definitely hear you. Typically, I mean, you play on Saturdays most of the time, right?
Yeah, so I get it. I mean,
a lot of times you practice Thursday, you go up to Pollock, they have a beautiful Thanksgiving meal.
Always was. It was great.
And it's still outstanding. They do a really good job. The position coaches a lot of times will invite players over to their houses, but with the game being on Friday, I mean, they're going to fly out Thursday by noon.
Do you think that they'll have a Thanksgiving before they go or one in Detroit? But you can have something. Dude. Okay,
but
I know we're bigger people,
right?
You used to be a much bigger person.
Uh-huh.
Day after Thanksgiving, I'm not playing a football.
No,
game.
That's not going to happen.
If you have the standard diet of a Thanksgiving,
not sustainable at all. Most of my Thanksgiving meals in my prime. I eat my plate, the first one. There might be a second one. There's a 2-3 hour nap in between. And then that third and fourth one. Let me live, Goon. Okay, let me. And then here comes the third and fourth plates. Here's the thing. I'm not sure that all of our linemen have enough discipline to have Thanksgiving food around 24 hours before a football game. I don't know if that's
no discipline when it comes to Thanksgiving dinner.
No, nor should there be. Nor should there be. Anyways, you got Michigan State. We got we got a little bit of time left here. We talked about the bowl game briefly at your tailgate. A lot of options on the table still. And you said something about, I think it was the Peach Bowl.
I like the option. This is our second year, by the way. Finishing up our second year here. Next week will be our last show here, but we will have a bowl show. We will announce that somewhere. But if we go to the Peach Bowl, and we win the Peach Bowl, we'll be the first NCAA team to win all 6 major bowls.
There's
a list of like 11 teams that are one away type of thing. And with the way the college football bowl series is set up, it'll get clipped here real soon.
Yeah.
So if we go to the Peach Bowl and win, I just think it's something like you had told me last year, like, hey man, I know we lost to Ohio State, Michigan. This is last year.
Yep.
And you said that the guys are still pretty intent and pretty jacked up about going to the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
So I'm going to say I would love for us to go to the Peach Bowl. And like when these guys were in high school, who was the top dog in this league? That was Alabama.
Yep.
So you're going to come and say, you know what? This is that top 10 team that we want to take out.
No doubt.
They take all the heat off of James because he can't beat a top 10 team. You go out there, you win for James, you beat an Alabama team, you have all the momentum going into the next year, and you're the first team in the history to ever win all 6 major bowls.
It's still a good opportunity to make some.
I think that's what it is. It's an opportunity for these guys to do something.
No doubt about it. And just talking to guys, playing a team like Alabama, like you said,
that'd be great.
I mean, they've been number one in all of our heads for so long, just throughout our childhoods. That would be really cool to go beat them, and then to be the first team to win all six,
because it's going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, Alabama's there, Florida State's there, Nebraska's other teams that are there that are one game off. Like we always had the Rose, but you knew Alabama was never going to get to the Rose Bowl. But now it's there.
Yep.
Because of the college football playoffs and stuff like that. So that record will go down soon, but I'd like to be the first. And I'd like for James to like push that for the guys and say, hey, this is what we're playing for type of thing.
Yep.
And you know what? Somebody was like, oh, then Franklin can act like he won all of those bowl games. He would have won 4 of the 6.
Yeah, Franklin's won plenty of New Year's 6 games. I mean, you can't
think
take away
about
from
that.
him.
He would have won the Rose, the Cotton, the Festa, and the Peach. So he missed the Orange and the Sugar Bowl.
Yep. 4 of them is impressive.
He's 51 years old.
Yep. A lot of time on the clock for Coach Franklin.
That's a nice little record right there. I mean, I know the bowl system is all different and this and that, but to an old school guy, that means a lot.
No doubt about it. Well, we got to get to break, but ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned.
Nice little show here today, buddy.
Nice little show today. We got the legendary, the great Landon Tengwall joining us on the show out of the break. Stay tuned with us on the Blue White Player Show. We'll be right back.
Ciocca Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Ciocca Toyota of Williamsport and see the Ciocca dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Ciocca Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Ciocca Toyota, it just feels right.
Old Dominion. No Bad Vibes Tour. Friday, December 1st. Bryce Jordan Center. With special guest Chase Rice and Kylie Morgan. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion, live in concert. Brought to you by Messina Touring Group.
It's frustrating when people intervene on you, but they have problems of their own. It's like when someone sends you a text, but the text comes from their email address. I hate this. Your name at iCloud, they FaceTime you from their email address? Are you calling on a child's iPad?
Emmy Award-winning comedian John Mulaney brings his new tour, John Mulaney in Concert, Bryce Jordan Center, December 3rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
WWE returns to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center with the WWE Live Holiday Tour. Sunday night, December 10th, you'll see World Heavyweight Champion Seth freakin' Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
May the best man win.
WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, and more. Tickets start at $20. They make great holiday gifts. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off. Is it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone? Oh, shut the hell up.
Friday, March 22nd, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now, only at JeffDunham.com. Don't miss him.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back to the Blue White Players Show, presented by Ciocca Dealerships. We have my guy, my former teammate, Landon Tengwall, on the show with us today. Landon, how are we living, brother?
Good. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm sitting next to two Penn State legends right here, so it's an honor, man. Me and Hawk used to go to war together, practice.
Oh, man. I feel like we've done this with pretty much every guest we've had on the show that I played against, but Landon more so than anybody else. He already was telling our other guests here about it. He would come in during scout periods. I'd be playing against Landon, and he would get into his stance laughing hysterically every time he came in and played against me. Nothing was more irritating than that. Olu Fashion and him hit me with a double team their freshman year that made me realize I was going to have to retire from football. That was. They moved me 10 yards laughing the whole time, and I went to the sideline. I said, you know what? I got to call my mom and tell her it's over. The dream is done.
I'll tell you what, me and Olu, we get hyped. We see Hawk in there, and we look at each other. We give each other that look. It would be a deuce block. We said, let's take him to the end zone, man. And
let's take him to the end.
That was the goal. We accomplished it. So we forget the linebacker.
Accomplished it one time. Don't do that. Don't do that. Lying to my viewers like that. That's crazy. Goon is always really excited.
I got to talk to you.
Please. Okay.
My first ever introduction to this cat right here. I get a phone call and said, dude, you got to come down to the practice facility. There's an 8th grader wearing dudes out who were like 4-star recruits.
Yep.
No, I'm being serious. And I was like, get the hell out of here. And I show up there. And I'm like, where's he at? They're like, he's right there. I'm like, he ain't no 8th grader.
Yeah.
There ain't no way that kid's in 8th grade, 9th grade. And they're like, yes, he is.
That was a good one, man. I came up, I was still in 8th grade and had a good camp. And at the time, Coach Limegraver gave me the MVP afterwards. And I didn't know this at the time, but I had won against Yetur. Yetur was here. And I think he was coming in that summer.
Yep.
And so, they had him work out at the camp. And
working a 4-star recruit as an 8th grader.
Not just a 4-star recruit. Yetur Dos Matos is an NFL defensive end now, was an eventual second-round pick, and you were 11 years old and couldn't beat you. That's impressive stuff. That's impressive.
He came over to babysit you, and you started doing one-on-one, and you're working on
it. In front of his fans, yeah. That's nuts. Typical Landon behavior. I mean, let's get into it, though. Your recruitment journey is nuts. We're a big recruit. I remember you coming up, big Twitter guy, so I got to know you pretty early before I got to know you. Talk to us about that journey to Penn State coming out of Maryland.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. Like I said, it started really early on there in 8th grade. Right away, loved Coach Franklin, loved the staff. There's been some pieces that have moved around earlier on. Tyler Bowen was a really influential guy. He was at Maryland and then came over. I was not interested in Maryland after some of the performances I saw at their stadium against Penn State. I was there for a couple of those 65-0 wins, so I was turned away from them. But no, I probably came up over 25 times, and every single time it felt real special. And it was Coach Franklin and the guys, and Coach Trout got here. I was real excited to get up here, and it's a different atmosphere, different locker room than other places too. I'll say really inviting when I got here, and even more so since you left. I'll tell you, even these freshmen, they come in and everybody, it's like it really is a family environment. Yeah. In some places you go, I mean, if you're a freshman, you get shunned to the corner. I mean, you know how that goes. So it's a really
Why do I know how that goes?
Well,
was I the freshman getting shoved in the corner?
I don't know. Were you?
Low key, a little bit. It's okay. It was a different time. The locker room, like you said, has continued to evolve with years. It's gotten better.
Do you guys still have the freshman section of the locker room? Like it's in your the home locker room in Beaver Stadium. There's that one little back room there.
Yes, the back room.
So that was the way our locker room was normally set up.
Uh-huh.
So you put all the freshmen back there, and that was it was the ghetto.
Yes.
You
work
your way out the ghetto.
The ghetto. I think that's the name that the
Want to hear the greatest story of all time?
What's that?
Bucky Greeley, 4-year starter at Penn State, 7-year NFL player, great friend. Sophomore year, he didn't get taken out of the ghetto. And his 3rd year, they said, hey, and after the season, they're like, hey, you want to go out there? He's like, I wasn't good enough last year. I'm not good enough now. He stayed in the ghetto for 5 seasons.
Wow. Oh, man.
Wow.
And he was just as grumpy as the first day he got there. So he was like an old man back there. They're like the freshmen show up like, who the hell's this old guy back here? That's our starting center right there. He's like grumpus. Like,
when'd you make it out of there?
I actually never went. I was never in the ghetto.
Okay.
I was never in the ghetto. It was just a numbers thing. Like I think I might have been the last person that was allowed in the main section of the locker room. But my second year, after they had seen enough film and enough performances, they were like, "You need to go in there and stay."
Did they put you back?
You got stationed.
I got demoted.
You regressed to the ghetto?
Yeah, they were like, "Get this kid away from our starters now. He is a distraction and a liability."
Aeneas.
Man. Hey, listen, it is what it is, man. I've moved on. I've grown.
But then they asked you to host all these guys on the recruiting trips. You show them a great time, and
then they put me in the ghetto. Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
Man.
I agree. We're not going to get that. That's an entire different tangent. That's a different episode for a different time.
I mean, I know a couple of like psychiatrists.
I need help.
Talk to somebody.
Yes, I would love to. If you can plug me in there, it'd be much appreciated.
You were a late onset ghetto guy.
Yeah, you don't know many of those guys, do
wow,
you?
I don't know any.
No, it's okay. Coach Franklin and I still have that
a couple
conversation.
Guys coming off of
then.
suspensions and stuff like that would get put back there, and
Yeah.
like, you got to earn your way out.
Yeah, no, I never got in trouble. I just couldn't win one-on-one pass rush. They were like, "Go sit back there and think about it."
By the way,
ready.
This is our 13th show. 13 shows of him not being able to win a one-on-one.
Landon, you were there. Okay,
well,
let's get into this. So, Landon was there for the back half of my career.
Landon was in sixth grade working you, dude.
That's fair. That is fair. I mean, what do you remember about being the pass rusher?
I came in and I knew at the earlier on you were a highly recruited guy, and then I came in and I saw I got to go against you a lot when you were on D squad. But like I said, we had a good time with Hawk. Every time he step up, it was one of those things. Everybody wanted to go against Hawk just to kind of mess him up a little bit. It was like one of those.
This is what it was. Okay, so
your mom's listening.
So Mama Hawk is listening. Listen, first of all, the knee quit a long time ago. All right, I was just out there hanging out with my guys at that point. But I will say, guys like Landon would come in there and give me. It was like their Super Bowl anytime they lined up. It was crazy. They enjoyed the opportunity to do their best. I mean, you and I have gotten into scuffles during scout team practices over nothing,
and it was never too serious. I would laugh during the whole scuffle.
Yeah,
it was funny to me.
Yeah,
we would have a good time. I'm telling you, seeing I would laugh at him anytime.
You laughed at Aeneas?
That's my guy. But
you laughed at my brother Aeneas.
I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but it was.
Okay.
We had a good time out there, though. It was
a lot of fun
for one of the parties.
Smacked my Aeneas around, huh?
Just a little bit.
Damn.
I might need to go back and find some tape of the rare wins just to kill this narrative off a little bit.
You're the one who brought the narrative into this situation.
I had a couple of them. It's all right. Whatever, man.
I mean, you think I'm going to go up here and talk about my L's? I'm never going to talk about an L. No way.
Well, it's just such public knowledge at this point. I just embrace the narrative.
Yeah, he's an honest guy.
I don't even fight back anymore. It's not serious enough for me. Landon.
Aeneas, we got to get you some. Oh, my Lord.
What year did you commit to Penn State? How old were you?
I was 17. It was 2020. Actually, I had bought a whole suit. I was gonna line it with Penn State. I had my whole commitment planned out, the official visits, everything. And then COVID came about. I got no official visits, and I said, all right, I guess I'll just commit. I said, forget about it. Franklin, I will say, he said, we're going to figure something out. We're going to get you guys an official visit. And I was stupid enough to believe him. We got no sorts of officials.
No COVID time.
It was rough. They said they were going to make it up once we were already here. And then I soon figured out that was a lie. That was never going to happen. They said something about paintballing. Yeah, we were here, and we went to winter workouts instead.
Enjoy your official visit. 6 a.m. in the Louisville Hall.
Your official visit was tired against Hakeem Beam.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Chuck Lowe screaming in your ear.
Every person I play with football at Penn State watching this right now is going, no official visits? Oh, my God. That was the highlight of our recruitment.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it, man.
Very much a highlight.
That was the old school. And then we got a little even wilder after a little bit. Then they had to tame that down a little bit with the early signing period. So that kept it a little tame. But there are definitely stories of guys going places, and it was absolutely insane. And you didn't get one.
Not a single one, but my recruitment did start early on, so I had a lot of visits up here, and I stayed a couple nights with Devon Lee's, funny enough. So they were good nights. I was up here for the 2019 Michigan whiteout. I remember that was fun. That was a good one, and so I've had some good times up here before I committed.
Now you're an author.
I am. My book, The Men Up Front.
Love it, man.
Yeah, no, it's been a really cool experience. It's a children's book, kind of just about my life, my recruitment to Penn State. You get to see I'm Actually, not to brag, but I am a junior Olympian, water polo.
Yep. Let's get into that. Yeah, let's talk about that. Junior Olympian in water polo.
Yeah. So my pops, he was All-American. He went at the Air Force Academy, big water polo guy. Yeah, indeed, in the water. No, you're not touching the water. You're treading water for about an hour there.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't know how well you do in the pool.
No, I got kicked off my water polo team. I drowned 2 horses. It was horrible. It was just a bad scene.
Understanding of the water polo.
Not at all.
Absolutely horrible scene, man. I was like, I'm out there with a club and trying to make this thing breathe, and it just kept on going down.
Make this thing.
It was a sad day.
Well,
I did it twice, so.
Interesting. Well, clearly Goose never played water polo.
No, I did not. But I do it. Actually, it is a big thing now in the Philadelphia area, to be honest with you. My nieces play. I think my one of my nephews plays too. So it's like,
it's
really
coming on.
Picking up.
Used to be a West Coast sport, but no, it was but coming up. Yeah, that was started when I was 5. I was born in water actually. Home birth, right in the
you're
water.
Probably a tremendous swimmer.
I am. I do love to swim. You catch me at the YMCA, local
YMCA.
YMCA.
Over here. I was born in water. What does that mean?
I was
water
born
birth, like they were like
physically in the water. I was born in a bathtub at home actually. So shout out my mom. Shout out to Cole for that.
I'm not sure how we got
all natural too. So shout out my mom out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's listening.
I've only ever seen stories of childbirth. I never witnessed it, but
how many kids do you have?
None.
Oh, okay.
No, none. You.
Right, exactly.
Not to be too crazy here, but you are a giant person to do an all-natural birth for. No, you're
a giant person to play water polo.
That's fair. That's fair. I was playing up a couple age groups, and yes, once again, shout out to my mom. 10 pounds 4 ounces. So she did a good job.
Oh my goodness.
12-4.
Okay, Goon's got me beat then.
Wow.
My mother had a Pall Mall and a shrimp cocktail while having it. You can't have that, Mrs. Conlon. Shut up. I'll be fine. I was number 6, dude. She shot me out.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, it's whatever.
That's ridiculous. Oh, man. Side note here. Let's change the topic briefly. You mentioned the children's book you have.
Yeah.
You don't know this. I've got a copy of your children's book sitting on my nightstand, literally right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where to put it.
Did you pay for it?
No, you gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
You gave it to me
my
like
fault.
a year or 2 ago.
Okay, my fault.
Yeah, you gave it to me. I would pay for it. If I had kids, maybe I'd buy some of your children's novels and read it to them. But yeah, it's on my. I don't know where else to put it. I don't want to get rid of it. I love it. It looks nice, and it's a reminder that if you dream big, sometimes I read it at night, and it motivates me.
Well, it means a lot. That's on your dresser, man. But
every time Aeneas brings his girl home, she's like, little kid up next to your bed, dude.
Why it's later?
Like, are you wishful thinking here, or is this? I mean, I want to have
what
kids,
we're
but this is a
talking
little
about
weird here.
Definitely.
Where did the idea come from, though? I mean, it's amazing and awesome that you did it. I was showing my friend's nephew or his grandson this weekend, and they put an order in for it because, like, that's great because I think she had Aller's book.
Does Drew have a book too?
Yes, Drew has a book, and that's where I was a little confused at. I got an email and it said, "Look, we want to do a book with you and then Drew." And I was confused where I got into the equation, but
as dueling authors, do you and Drew are you guys rivals at this point in the book game?
No, he doesn't do too much with the book. I've done a lot with the book, and he still outsells me probably by about 10,000 copies. No, but I've had really cool experiences with the book. I've been able to go to a couple different elementary schools, read to different kids. I've actually gotten an opportunity to go back to my elementary school. That was really cool. A couple schools around here where it is all Penn State, and these kids they live, breathe it. And it's really cool. I try to go to every single classroom. I'll give away a couple copies, but it's been a really cool experience. Also went down to Guatemala this past spring with some of the guys. We were able to give away some shoes down there working with a nonprofit called Souls for Souls. And I got to bring 100 books and actually give them away to one of the schools down there. So some really cool experiences from having this book.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
Man. Yeah.
But you didn't answer my question.
What's that?
Where did the idea come from? Somebody wrote you an email.
I got an email. I got an email, and
I'm out of the blue.
And I'm an opportunist, so I'm.
Like somebody said, "Hey, you want to write a book?" And you're like, "Yeah."
I said, "Let's do it." We did an interview. We got the book sorted out, and
why was your name?
Top recruit. I have no clue. I wouldn't have picked me, but
I would have.
Yeah.
Well, I saw what you did to my buddy Hawk, and I was like, "That kid's an animal."
Whatever, man. I will say this is my last point on that topic. Me and Nick Dawkins actually had this conversation. I think my problem was I was the vet that when freshmen got in that they wanted to play, like they thought maybe we're good enough to play, they'd line them up with me. And if I was even remotely close to beating them, they got the red shirt. They wouldn't get to play that year. I think that's what they were doing. I can't.
Oh, you were the litmus test.
I was the test.
You were the litmus test. Like, yeah, he can't beat Hawk.
Yeah, they throw him in lines there with me, That was He's red shirt. Get him in the weight room. He's not ready.
Holy hell.
Anyway, transition to life outside of football now. You're doing some interesting things, staying busy. Talk to the people about what's been going on in Landon Tengwall's life.
Yeah. No, it's been a good transition, man. Definitely a lot of free time, as you know. So you got to feel that. I've been doing a couple different radio shows around town. Just trying to stay busy as much as possible. Like once again, you can catch me at the local YMCA. I might be swimming laps, pumping some curls out. Hope to see you in there. Actually,
we can get it in, man. I was on the swim team. I know. I'm a heavy set black man. Nobody's probably gonna buy that. I was on the swim team. So if you want to swim some laps,
where were you placing?
I was a backstroke guy.
Okay.
I got 7th in the city of Cincinnati in the 6th or 7th grade. That was about as good as I ever got.
Okay, we're going back to swimming.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Come on, man.
I'm going to find some tape to prove this, but yes. So you're swimming, you're working out, you're doing radio.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, you're a guy who there's so many different things you could do and do well. You could coach, the players love you, you can do radio stuff.
Well, this might be his litmus test for the radio show.
Right. This is the litmus test again, right? So, I mean, have you been able to find any sense of direction with what you want to do, or have you just been enjoying doing a bunch of different things and kind of walking that path and figuring it out?
Yeah. I've been enjoying, obviously, like I said, a lot of free time, and we spoke about this, when I announced that I had to step away from football, and we had a really good conversation about just taking advantage of, everything in front of you. I got some time in front of me. I'm still with the team for this year and next year until I graduate. And, one thing that's really cool about NIL is just kind of taking advantage of meeting a lot of different people, a lot of powerful people that, have run businesses and, stuff like this. It's just been really good experiences. So I'm not, zoned in on one thing that I'm trying to do, but just trying to take as many opportunities as possible and just, make good of it.
Awesome. So where are we at graduation-wise? You said next year.
Yeah, so I'm looking at either next fall or next spring. Looking with the advisors on that, but stretch it out as long as possible. Enjoy the experience.
Stretch it out, baby. Stretch it out.
I got in here with COVID and stuff.
Little business school.
Yeah,
is there a possibility there?
Yeah, so I'm going to do an MBA program once I graduate as well. So
take advantage of it, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. I can't tell you that enough, bro.
No doubt. I'm a broadcast journalism major, so I really do enjoy that. I enjoy this type of stuff, being on the radio, and then. Yeah,
look at Hawk.
He's good, man. I don't know what to tell you. He's better than I am. This kid right here is electric.
Put me out to pasture. We'll bring you on for one episode.
You're interviewing for Goon right now.
You got a 4-minute window every week, Goon. Right?
So that's good, man. So you've been able to stay busy. That's awesome. We talked a little bit off the air, able to go in the locker room, still hang around some of the guys. I'm sure that's been good too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd say that's one thing, and you can attest. I mean, both of you can attest to this. That's one of the things you miss the most. Yeah. Not so much those 6 a.m. Lifts and runs where you got a coach screaming in your face, but that locker room environment, you miss that camaraderie with your teammates. So it's really nice to still be able to come in there. Sometimes we see Hawk, and you still make an appearance in the locker room
every
as well.
Now and then, man. Every now and then.
You miss it, man. Sometimes you're itching for just a little bit of just locker room interaction.
There's nothing like it, man. And I'll tell you what, it used to irritate me with Coach Frank at the end of games. You're like in a rush to get out of there, go hang out with your buddies after a game, whatever. And he's like, you guys need to slow down and soak this locker room up, because as soon as you get done, you're going to miss it. And he used to always say it, and it was corny and it was whatever. And as soon as we were done, he was right. And that was the one thing I can honestly say he was certainly right about. I miss that locker room every day, man. It's nothing like it, really.
Absolutely.
And not just after games. I'm talking like during the week and stuff like that, because everybody knows everybody's business, and it's always fun. There's always some joking and this and that going on, but there's definitely some you literally have lifelong friends in there, because you know everything about them.
Yeah. And you find
and
out
there's nothing off limits.
No, nothing at all. That is.
You ever want to see a racially diverse place go to the military or a football locker room? Because
no doubt,
everybody's the same piece of crap, and you just get abused by everybody. So it doesn't matter what you are.
No doubt. That is one special thing about a locker room. Just real quick, you mentioned it, that it doesn't matter where you are, where you come from, what ethnicity, whatever. Everybody comes together. You love each other. You're brothers. It really is a special thing.
It's the model, man. It's the model.
That is the model of the world, I think. I really do. So
yeah.
My man, anytime, you know that.
Yeah,
appreciate it. I would love to have you on, man. Thank you for coming on. I wish we had some more time with you. yap some more about, some Hawk stories.
Oh, man, we got a lot of them.
No more Hawk stories.
We got Dave Groff coming on here, a former letterman here on the
There you
70s team, who also beat the living tar out of Aeneas.
Somehow, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Dave was 61 years old, came up to a practice and said, I want that kid number 27. I want the short little fat kid who's wearing a wide receiver or a running back number. I want him.
We'll be right back on the Blue White Tailgate Show.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Ciocca is hitting the field with 42 dealerships and 25 brands in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred dealership group of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Ciocca dealerships. Experience the difference.
Old Dominion. No Bad Vibes Tour. Friday, December 1st. Bryce Jordan Center. With special guest Chase Rice and Kylie Morgan. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion, live in concert. Brought to you by Messina Touring Group.
It's frustrating when people intervene on you, but they have problems of their own. It's like when someone sends you a text, but the text comes from their email address. I hate this. Your name at iCloud, they FaceTime you from their email address? Are you calling on a child's iPad?
Emmy Award-winning comedian John Mulaney brings his new tour, John Mulaney in Concert, Bryce Jordan Center, December 3rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
WWE returns to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center with the WWE Live Holiday Tour. Sunday night, December 10th, you'll see World Heavyweight Champion Seth freakin' Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
May the best man win.
WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, and more. Tickets start at $20. They make great holiday gifts. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off. Was it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone? Oh, shut the hell up.
Friday, March 22nd, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now, only at JeffDunham.com. Don't miss them.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Hey, welcome back to the Blue White Players Show, sponsored by our good friends at Ciocca Motors and the Ciocca Motor Dealerships, Ciocca Family Dealerships. I apologize. Special guest here tonight. We have our Letterman moment here, sponsored by Atlas Therapy, and that is a good old friend of mine named David Graff. Dave played here in the 73 team, graduated after the 74 season, so he and I have always we see each other a lot in town. He stayed locally, came back, and this and that. So I see Dave a lot. He comes to the tailgate every time. We sit in the tailgates a lot, though. So, Dave, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
I do want to ask you, when did you actually start beating up Aeneas?
I wasn't around for that. I think I got beat up enough. They moved me to defensive tackle one spring, and it was a long spring.
Oh, so we were both defensive tackles.
Well, I was defensive end, and then this is way back when Randy Crowder got hurt, and Joe decided we're going to play a defensive tackle for a spring. And I'm like, I weighed 205, and I was in the gap between Charlie Getty and John Nessel, and it was a long spring just to put it.
Spring.
That was terrible, but whatever.
Give me the history growing up on all those. Who was I want to hear it all, man. Where'd you grow up? What position? Where else you visit? All that stuff.
Oh, when I grew up Dunkirk, New York, on the lake between Erie and Buffalo.
Okay,
right in the middle there.
Warm, beautiful this time of season.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Absolutely
75
this time of year.
No snow. Yeah. and high school there, and then I guess came here for college, and played high school there. But heck, I drive back. Well, Dunkirk is, I go through Warren and I go through Sheffield to come here, so about a 4-hour ride. And when I was being recruited, it was basically, I kind of wanted to be about 3.5, 4 hours away from home. So it was Syracuse, Pitt, and Penn State. I wasn't recruited by a lot of schools, but those were the names, and they were pretty much all about 3.5, 4 hours away.
The position you were playing in high school? All of the above?
No, I was a tight end and a defensive end.
They kept you there? They didn't move you around at all?
They moved me. Well, I came here. I thought I'd be the next Ted Kwolek, but they told me to go to defensive end. So I played defensive end here, and then except for that spring when they killed me. But
I feel like I'm bashing the Hawk here a little bit, so I got to tell a quick story here. So I had my recruiting process. I'm 6'8", 280 pounds. And I'm like, hey, well, I'm a defensive player. I didn't play offense in high school. I played a couple games at tight end, some games at center, but I was more of a defensive end. I was all-state DN, all that stuff. Just like, yeah, come here. You're playing defensive tackle, defensive end for us. I said, you'll be fine. So about 32 seconds into the first practice of a freshman practice, Conley, why don't you go over there and check that offensive line out? Yeah, we're going to go half and half practice today. And I never saw the defensive field again.
Never again.
It lasted 32 minutes. I mean, that's just the way it was.
That's how it was.
But I could sit there and say, okay, this is where I'm more built for this. So
yeah.
You had some studs. I mean, you were not. When did you get here? Because 68, 69, you weren't here for that.
No,
you were here for the 73 undefeated team.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 71, so I was here for the 71, 2, 3, 4 season. 71 was Lydell and Franco's senior year, and
you weren't allowed to play though.
We weren't. No, freshmen were not eligible.
Crazy.
So we got beat up by those guys, and then 72, 3, 4. Those were good years. 72.
Absolutely.
We opened up with Tennessee, lost to them, and we ran the table and lost to Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. 73 was the undefeated year. 74, 10-2 with a win in the Cotton Bowl. And that was, for all the old timers, that's when we played Navy and lost 7-6. But people almost drowned in that game. It was the weather was so bad. It was the worst game you ever saw. So, I mean, as far as weather-wise.
Parallels right here between you and I are absolutely a little crazy because, 94 was my junior year. We go undefeated, this and that. Play the 95 season. Then we go play Auburn in the Outback Bowl in literally 15 inches of rain.
Yeah.
That last game at Penn State was like, it was like a swamp.
Monsoon.
It was so bad.
They
showed on ESPN every once in a while. You were there?
Yeah, I went to the game, and my sisters were like, can't you get better tickets than this, because it's pouring down rain, and they're figuring I should be. And I look about 10 people over. I goes, well, he doesn't have better seats, and it was Franco.
Yeah.
And Franco was sitting out there in the rain, and they go, well, if he doesn't have better seats,
it didn't rain, man.
Yeah.
It rained from
the
night before at our snack through the whole game. Never stopped.
I might be wrong, but I think Juravicius caught a pass on the 10-yard line and slid through the whole end zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brian Milne and John Whitman each had touchdowns, and not touchdown, but they made I know Milne made a run where he literally slid 15, 20 yards under the benches. It was crazy.
That's funny.
And I didn't know that. So, Dave, after Penn State, what did you major, by the way?
I was in accounting business.
Did it work for you?
Oh, yeah. I spent
Did you utilize your degree?
Yeah.
Good.
I played, the 6 years. I played 6 years in the NFL, got out and took a job with a small brokerage firm, then went to Merrill Lynch, and I spent 35 years with Merrill.
Worked out well then, huh?
Yeah, everything.
Now, where were you with all that? For all that, I know you weren't in State College. I know you are now.
Yeah, I was down in Fort Lauderdale, and I was listening about the swimming over there, and
everyone.
I actually lifeguarded down there. Okay. I swam a little bit when I was a kid, and I went down there, and there was a guy that I played with down there, and another guy that swam here. They said, hey, you could probably pass this lifeguard test. So I lifeguarded and worked out a lot down there. But I was in Fort Lauderdale. I raised my kids down there and moved back up here about 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
you've been here 6 or 7 years? Were you coming up here a lot when we were getting together?
I'd come up for games, but I had just moved back up here about 6 years ago. So
yeah.
Fort Lauderdale, huh?
Yep.
State College.
What's that?
Fort Lauderdale State College. I mean, I know it's everybody's dream to move up here, but you got to miss the heat.
Well, everybody says
you are from Dunkirk, New York, so it really doesn't bother you.
Yeah, my wife says we did it backwards. We
absolutely
we moved from here to Lauderdale to here, and we bought our house is a little bigger, but we enjoy having people over. So
there you go.
I don't know. So
I want to ask you. You brought up being a freshman, Franco's senior year. My freshman year, we had Trace McSorley here, and I remember being starstruck seeing Trace in the locker room for the first time because I'd watched so much from on TV. I knew all about him. Did you have any of that experience seeing Franco the first time practicing against him? Were you starstruck ever?
Yeah, I think back then you didn't really. The only thing I knew, I read about, Penn State a little bit, and you didn't know that much about the players in it. But I remember someone told me, well, you're going to get up there. They got these real good running backs, Lydell Mitchell and Franco Harris. And I thought it was Frank O'Harris. I thought he was an Irish guy. and when they dropped me off, my parents dropped me off at Pollock Hall there. We were at Pollock at that time. I don't know where you guys were at that time. And I didn't know anybody. I'm from New York. All these guys are from Pennsylvania. And I get on the elevator. I'm kind of depressed. Like, oh, man, I'm going up to my room. And this big guy gets on. Hi, I'm Franco Harris. And I go, yeah. It was the first I met. He was the first guy I met. And he's so nice to me. I rode up the elevator and I go, that's Franco Harris. I thought he was an Irish guy. So,
I have to say this about Franco. His sheer size of somebody who was played in that era.
Yeah.
I mean, he was as big as some of the centers. I mean, I mean, God rest his soul, but Mike Webster was not much bigger than Franco Harris.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you had to smack around Mike Webster a whole bunch in your career at the Browns.
I was mostly special teams, but the games back then against Pittsburgh were good. they were good, tough games.
Franco was a big dude for being a running back in that era. I mean. Yeah. I guess maybe not that era. Maybe that was the era of the big back type of thing, but he seemed to be. He was every bit of 6'2", 6'3", maybe even 6.
Oh, he could run.
Yeah, he could run too.
Yeah, he was faster than Lydell
for an Irishman. Hell,
yeah, for an Irish guy, that dude was.
So my old roommate Marco Rivera, he was Irish one day. It was Marco River. That was on St. Patty's Day. So I know the whole Frank O. Harris thing. I get it.
Well, the years, my rookie year. We were, Cleveland, and we were in with Pittsburgh, Houston Oilers back then, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, mm-hmm. So you had Franco, Earl Campbell, and Boobie Clark. I mean, there were some good running backs in that division. So,
it was the black and blue division for sure. My goodness.
And special teams were a lot of fun because it was Billy White Shoes. If you remember, I'm going way back. People don't know those names, but I mean. They were good. And I heard you guys talking earlier about how cold it was. You guys didn't play in Cleveland. I mean, we played.
Give me the worst one.
The worst one, we were playing Houston. And my folks always came to the games from Dunkirk because it was 2.5 hours away. They couldn't get there because I-90 was ice. I mean, it was just all ice. And back then, the open end zone, the lake, I mean, the weather came off the lake. It was so icy on the field. They gave us broom ball shoes. So you wouldn't slip and slide. They were like broom ball. I don't know. They had suction cups on them or something like that. So we punted to Billy White Shoes, and we're sliding along, and he's just going by, and it's like CLA scored a couple times. We're like, how the heck's he doing it? So, but that was probably the coldest game. It was pure ice out there. You talked about rock salt. I mean, it was ice.
You're completely right about the Cleveland weather. I'm from Ohio.
I know.
We would travel up to play Cleveland St. Edwards and Cleveland St. Ignatius in late November, December, and I would be over there with layers on layers. It was freezing out there, man.
We came out of one Saturday practice, and I remember we were at Baldwin Wallace, and I walked out of, it was just a walkthrough type practice, and I looked out, and there must have been buses lined up all over the place. And I go, what's going on? They go, high school game. And I think it was Ignatius or St. Ed, one of those was playing Moeller. Or
that's where I'm from, Moeller.
Yeah, or somebody. And I'm like, I mean, it was unbelievable how many buses and how many people were there for that game. It was incredible.
Those were big games, man. They used to beat up on us pretty good when I was in high school. They were fun still. Yeah. They were fun games.
We're going to tie it all together here at the end.
Okay, here we go.
You know what my last game at Penn State was?
What's that?
That's Snow Bowl versus Michigan. 25 inches of snow on the ground. Wednesday before the game. 25 inches of
snow
on the ground.
That's insane.
And that was, I think the other day was like a 28th or 58th anniversary of it the other day. I was like,
can I ask, when all that snow came down, did it come down during the week or on game
Wednesday.
day? So on Wednesday, did you guys go to practice that day?
What?
You had practice that day, I'd assume. Wednesday? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were in Haluba. Yeah, everything was, everything would get there. We
Funny,
were right
man.
there.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable because, remember, it was our third year in the Big Ten. So Michigan was like, hey, just play over here in Ann Arbor. Come on, we'll take the game. So I was like, so, I mean, it was crazy. You could see, I mean, there are people here who, Sally, you remember that people were in there shoveling their seats out in the stadium all week, and they were paying them $5 an hour for the students to come in. It was insane.
Wow.
We almost didn't have the game.
It's a lot of snow, man.
But then they actually, I'm not lying to you, they packed up the convicts from the prison down the road.
They brought them up?
They brought them up, and I'm telling you right now, we got in the stadium. You looked around, you could see the student section where they were cleaning because it was just like brushed away. Where the prisoners were, there wasn't a piece of ice, a piece of snow, a piece of water. It was gone.
Goodness.
They were just happy to be out in the air and stuff like that.
They were having a blast. Yeah.
It was like we're not in prison, so this is
recess,
great. So
man. Yeah.
Loved it. That was my final game at Penn State.
That's nuts.
I heard you guys' story about Thanksgiving real quickly. 1971, Franklin Lydell's team, they were undefeated, but they had a game December 4th. I still remember December 4th against Tennessee. So Joe says, we're going to practice Thanksgiving morning, and then everybody's leaving at noon that day. So we stayed in the dorm. We're all by ourselves. Snowstorm hits, big snowstorm. We go out to practice. We didn't have Haluba. We just practiced on the AstroTurf out there. And guys didn't get home. I mean, they were stuck on 80, and it was crazy. So, but Joe made us all practice that Thanksgiving morning, and we had, and this was, I still remember the big game of the day was Oklahoma, Nebraska. They were 1-2 back then, and then we're trying to get home for that game, and my aunt and uncle were from Fairfax, Virginia, and they were coming up to get me to take me up, and I'm sitting there at the hub waiting. I'm freezing my butt off, and they finally. But all these guys on 80, they never got them. These guys that lived in Connecticut, they had to stay at some home. It was terrible, But and we didn't have any Thanksgiving dinners, or we didn't have anything back then. It was just I'm the old guy,
So December 4th, was that game here or there?
It was there, Knoxville.
See, I mean, I know we'll talk about this next year, obviously, it is, but it's like I cannot wait.
Yeah,
for the college football playoffs next year. The first weekend is December 20th and 21st. That's the first round games. So obviously there's 4 first round buys, and then the next 4 teams host.
Yep.
So
hopefully we host.
I would love for the Florida State Seminoles, the LSU,
Tigers.
Come on up north. Come on to Wisconsin or Pennsylvania. Central Pennsylvania, December 21st.
Yeah.
By the way, I need to remind everybody, Christmas time last year was minus 31 degrees with wind chill.
It was unbelievable. I was here for that. I got stuck because there was so much ice. I couldn't get back to Cincinnati. I came out of my apartment. I'm talking about within 15 seconds.
I'm out.
The wind hit my eyes. I started crying, and it froze my eyelids shut. I went right back in my apartment. It did not leave for 2 days. It was ridiculous.
That's
different type of cold.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have a hybrid car, so it runs electric and it runs on gas and stuff like that. It was frozen for 3 days. I'm like, well, you're going to turn it over. I was like, well, maybe you want to tell me that before it turns 31 degrees below zero. It wasn't the electric. It wasn't the gas. It was the electric that froze.
Yeah.
So, but how'd the Tennessee game go?
Well, Penn State was undefeated going into that game, and the big thing of that game was they had just made a rule where you could only substitute like 2 players on punts. So we had these huge offensive linemen, Charlie Getty, Laporta. I don't know if you know all those names, but they were huge back then. They were 265, 280. I mean, today that's nothing. But so they had a punt return guy that ran back about 3 or 4 punts, and we had Huffnagel, we had all these guys, and we turned it over, and they ended up killing us 31-11. I still remember. So then the next year, I guess Joe made a deal like, okay, we'll play you guys there, and then we opened with them the next year.
See, that's what I was gonna ask. Are they coming up in December to you?
And Joe said, I from what I understand, I might have this wrong, but Joe said, we'll only play if it's a night game. Figuring, they're not going to play us because they don't have lights. They brought in lights, and they played us again. And it was like, so then they end up beating us again, 28-21.
Hey, come on.
We didn't have
Tennessee.
We didn't have any good game. Well, then all the bowl games after that, we beat Tennessee and all those, which was good because they handled us 2 years in a row.
I have 2 as a player and 1 as a coach underneath my cap beating Tennessee.
Oh, do you?
We used the same. I mean, it's funny because 2 times we used the tight end delay, like, throwback to the tight end.
Okay.
It worked in 91, worked in 93.
Okay.
And then when I was coaching here in 2007, Jay Paterno looked at me and goes, "We got to put this in just because." And it worked again. It was like they're obviously not doing homework over there.
They watched a lot of film.
Yeah, they have not watched the film from the 93 Citrus Bowl, obviously. So
Unprepared, man. That's good stuff.
What do you think with this team now? I mean, I'm the old school, new school. You're the old school. I mean, how happy are you about the NIL? To be honest with you, I love it because the players can get what they deserve, and we didn't get anything. You know how it was.
Well, I got $15 a month, and they did away with that.
I got nothing.
Yeah, they gave us $15 a month. I don't have any trouble. I mean, we probably should have got something when we played, and it's just tough. I don't know. There's some way to make it even because, you hear about all these stories about this guy's getting this much, this guy's getting that much, and I don't know how much is true or anything like that. And it'd be
difference
nice.
and the divide between the have and have nots is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And it's I don't think it's good for the game personally. I think it will be under more control. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I mean, I just want to control pretty much, I want to see the kids get as much as they possibly can because, as we said before, I mean, who's really footing the bill here is fans.
No doubt about it.
We're asking a lot of our fans as it is, and now we're asking more. So but if you comes down to it, absolutely every fan of ours would give anything for our players.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think there's a group of guys in the locker room now who appreciate the fans and the people who are sacrificing to give them these things.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the Lash parking lot now, it's like you're pulling into the Philadelphia Eagles facility. All these cars they have. I'm still driving my 2008 Kia Optima, and I got these kids that were freshmen when I was there driving Hellcats and Jeep Trackhawks. I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on here. And you were getting $15 a month. I think you and I go into that building, we start shaking some people down to get what we deserve.
Oh, you know what I had?
That's just me. What did you have?
I didn't have a license until I was 23 years old.
Are we going to blame? Are we going to blame?
I had girlfriends in high school who drove me around, so I don't need a license. And I had friends in here, and we never, you get to school here, you don't need a license, you don't need a car.
No,
really and I actually was pretty funny the day I got my license when I was 22 or 23. They're like, "Hey, remember you were 20 years old and you got that underage drinking?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, well, you have a 90-day suspension. So the day I got my license, they took it from me. Come on, it was 3 years ago, man.
Oh, that's terrible. That is hilarious.
Well, I mean, you're staying here for a while. You're not going back to Florida, are you?
No.
Absolutely.
I don't miss it at all. I like
Wifey went here, right? Everything?
What's that?
Wife went here, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I talked her into coming up here, and she likes it. So
good.
Yeah, more surprised. Nobody could be more surprised than me. But I told you she's from Cincinnati too.
Yes, we talked about that.
Yeah, she's from Hillsboro, Ohio.
Small world.
Yeah, so a small city out there.
Yep.
So
yeah,
but all's good.
Well, appreciate you coming on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you very
you
much,
watching
brother.
the show this year. One more episode here live next week at the Penn State Golf Courses. I do have to say they put their, what would you call these things? Golf simulators in there, man. They're open from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. daily, running for a half hour at a time. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
Watch some guys getting some lessons in here.
I think we might get Goon on it here in the next 5-10 minutes. So
I need a putting green. That's the only thing. That's the only club I can use right now.
Well,
I figured somebody asked me, "You want to take a swing?" I said, "My discs from my back would go farther than the ball, so there's no shot in that happening." I've learned my lesson. So, Penn State Golf Course has been great for us. Ciocca Motors, Lion Country Kia, Justin Kerpakis with the Atlas Therapy. Everybody's been great with our sponsorships this year, and the fans have been great. We got one more, and then we got a bowl show, so to be determined. So,
yeah,
Dave, really appreciate it, my man.
Enjoyed it.
Let's get that win this weekend. What are you thinking this weekend, real quick?
Hey, going 1-0, Michigan State 3-7, dealing with some struggles. Obviously, it's still a respected program, but I think Penn State goes in there. They're focused. They're looking forward to the bowl game, and you got to close the season out the right way.
Absolutely.
2 disappointing losses, but still a good ball team, good program. Finish the year out strong, man.
David.
No, you guys talked earlier. It's not really a home game for them, know, and I think that's got an effect on those guys too. And I looked at their scores during the year, and they didn't do very well against Michigan and Ohio State. I think it was 49-0 and 38-3. So it'd be very disappointing if we didn't do well. So
I projected 40-17 or 40-13 was what my projection was. I think it's a senior day for them, but yet it's not really a senior day for them because it's like, I don't know. They've had games at Detroit this year, last year. I don't know. It's a little weird for them to have their final game there. I don't understand it, but everybody plays hard for their seniors on senior day, as we did this past week. So we're going to see. I think they're going to come out with a little bit of fire, but the horses of Penn State got to take over and just finish them down. And hopefully this time next week we're talking about, well, I guess we wouldn't know the bowl game next week, but let's go 1-0 and get it through and
1-0, baby.
Yeah, season goes
real quick,
baby.
Absolutely. We'll see y'all next week.
Appreciate it, everybody.
Ciocca Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Ciocca Toyota of Williamsport and see the Ciocca dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Ciocca Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Ciocca Toyota, it just feels right.
Old Dominion. No Bad Vibes Tour. Friday, December 1st. Bryce Jordan Center. With special guest Chase Rice and Kylie Morgan. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion, live in concert. Brought to you by Messina Touring Group.
It's frustrating when people intervene on you, but they have problems of their own. It's like when someone sends you a text, but the text comes from their email address. I hate this. Your name at iCloud, they FaceTime you from their email address? Are you calling on a child's iPad?
Emmy Award-winning comedian John Mulaney brings his new tour, John Mulaney in Concert, Bryce Jordan Center, December 3rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
WWE returns to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center with the WWE Live Holiday Tour. Sunday night, December 10th, you'll see World Heavyweight Champion Seth freakin' Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
May the best man win.
WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, and more. Tickets start at $20. They make great holiday gifts. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off. Is it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone? Oh, shut the hell up.
Friday, March 22nd, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now only at JeffDunham.com. Don't miss them.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.